and welcome to Americans Learn. My name is Lauren, and today I am going to be watching a casual Geographic video. Always fun. This one is called Why This is the Scariest Predator of All Time. Not sure exactly what predator he's talking about, but I will say that the very first image I'm seeing is that of a kiwi. So, okay. No idea what to expect here, but I appreciate him bending to the spooky season vibes and talking about something scary. Let's find out what's going on.
Some animals very clearly got the middle finger from evolution.
Oh, that's why he's talking about this.
Of privilege. There is no animal
Alligator.
that got more green lights from God than a bulletproof, sawtoothed, predatory sledgehammer with hyperintelligence, parkour prowess, and the ability to cryo
he's
sleep
bouncy.
like Captain America.
Terrifying.
Yeah, that menace is alive. Find out if you want to. Brumaceans pretty much hibernate.
Oh yeah, because they like go under the ice and they leave their little nose out so they can breathe, and then they let the water freeze.
For reptiles, basically a built-in power save mode for animals that already don't use much of it, but it means this is an apex predator that can survive a fate with Elsa, because gators and the like can survive a winter in a frozen pond by turning their metabolism all the way down, where they'll just stick their snouts above water and leave the rest under the ice where it's actually warmer until fate decides to defrost them. Mind you, brumaceans not sleep, and gators will move around on days when it's warmer.
Okay.
It means this ill-mannered iceberg can probably sense you walking past it, thanks to another superpower we'll get into later.
Don't touch it then!
That not only is the mame gecko the most disrespectful addition to the food web, it is humanity's greatest predator. And whatever Oppenheimer felt when Hiroshima got hit with a massacre mushroom isn't even 1% of the regret felt by whoever unleashed an armor-plated equalizer onto Earth. But real quick,
I mean,
to be saying
God, presumably?
Video, but a lot of this applies to crocodilians as a concept. I cannot express how much every part of a crocodile.
Ooh, he's so pretty though. Look at all the patterns. Ooh, he's beautiful. Anyway. Got distracted there.
Its body is designed to author your obituary, and that includes its walnut-sized brain. Because crocodiles are intelligent on a level that should deeply disturb you. Both mugger crocodiles and American alligators will lure birds in by using sticks and twigs as bait to snatch their souls.
Does he go under them and come up? Like, because he can't reach to put them on, so he must go under and come up. I would like to see them do that. I would like to see them, how they bait their trap. That would be an interesting video to just witness. I will say I've only come into like close contact with alligators like once, or crocodiles. I'm not sure what they were because I was like 7. We went to South Carolina. And we were at Kiowa Island. It was very pretty. I remember, I have a lot of good memories from Kiowa Island, but one of them I do remember is that like when I looked out from from my bedroom in the house we were in, like the bayou was right there. Like I could see the alligators and I was terrified of them. I really thought that they were going to like climb up the walls of the house and like eat me in my bed. And my mom was like, alligators can't climb. And then I found out like 12 years later that, oh yes, they can. Oh yes, they can actually climb. And I was like really scared to like go on that path because I was like, they're gonna chase me. They never did. They were like really chill, but I was just like, I was so scared of them.
That would already be bad enough. Without the implication. The implication is that Satan's Snaggletooth stapler is able to take seasonality into account, since they're aware enough to pull this in the middle of nesting season. They're like Batman with prep time, except they've had 100 million years to plot. Another revelation is that the dinosaur time left behind will hunt as a pack, with scientists watching a group of crocs swimming in a circle around a shoal of fish, making the circle tighter and tighter until the fish were forced into a bait ball.
Okay, so that's sort of like in Rescuers, right? Rescuers Down Under, the alligators, there's a whole bunch of them they eat in a pack.
For the chompy boys to take turns cutting across the center of the circle to get their share of fish. There's another example where a massive
I think they do it in Emperor's New Groove too, right? With the wrong lever, like the alligators just all converge in a little circle. That's kind of cool. That like the idea that these animated cartoons are taking real, like they actually do come in a circle like that. That's cool.
Crocodile scared a pig into running into a lagoon. where it was immediately jumped by two smaller crocs waiting.
Thanks.
Now, the implication there is somehow the giant salty knew exactly what direction to force the pig. Crocs have been doing this. It's just, as expert Vladimir Dene will tell you, it's incredibly difficult to study an animal that does its damage in the water.
Yeah.
Because if you're in the water studying hunting crocodiles, chances are they're also studying you. And their
Good.
thesis statement
Very
is
good.
headstone engravement.
Love
Vlad
that.
put in over 3,000 hours of watching crocs and has witnessed things like a stronger, heavier croc driving fish to shore with smaller, more agile teammates hawking cornered fish. Now you might ask, how do the crocs share their victims? And honestly, that might be more unsettling than how they murk them. Chris Campbell was a contractor for the Okefenokee Wildlife Reserve, which meant over a decade of watching what a neighbor gator is capable of. One day he showed up to work with 60-something gators posted up by the boat dock.
Whoa.
What he described were two groups of gators, one in the semicircle formation driving fish to the shallows and using the boats to corner them, and the other group in the background resting, or more like waiting. Because whenever a gator from the hunting party caught a fish, he'd immediately retire to the waiting group, and one of the waiting crocs would sub in and take his place. This went on for hours until it got hot enough for them to clock out and go their ways.
Interesting,
So
okay.
the next morning, like clockwork, the morning crush was still there. Same
Wow.
time, same place, same agenda. That's a level of teamwork and foresight most people aren't willing to accept from a prehistoric snap trap. But your ignorance ain't bliss. In fact, it's what sustains them. In many
good.
spots in Africa and Australia, people are warned never to get water from the same place more than once, and definitely not past twice. It's because crocodiles will memorize patterns and clock your daily routine. And
Seriously, from one time?
professional camper means the croc will take note, just to ambush you the next chance they get, and they'll use very little energy to do it. It's also why studying them is like edging death. Choose the same spots repeatedly, and at best, the croc notices and avoids you with no regard for your research. And at worst, Senor Snappy studies your habits enough to put a halo around your head. That's a real PhD, which makes the crocodile
yikes.
to any creature of habit, and why the most dangerous kind of croc is actually an investigator. But if you watch this video, you could be the smartest thing missing a spine. You'll still be a living doormat if you don't have the hardware to back it up. And no animal has more disrespectful hardware than a motion-activated bear trap.
Hey. Hi, Seal. Yeah, he's just like, I'm gonna just kill you now, actually. Right in the jugular. Got you. And then drown you.
Crocodile is the most physically unfair predator on Earth because virtually every body part has been expressly designed to flatline you. They have the strongest recorded bite force of any animal at 3,700 pounds per square inch, making its jaw a steel trap capable of damage on par with victims of war. But maturing's realizing it's the teeth as much as the jaw. Sharks have serrated teeth to slice through prey. Crocs have death cones designed to keep prey in its custody.
They have death cones. I like that description of it.
Meaning, if a leather log
Like,
bites
I don't
you,
think
you
so.
have the lowest chance of escape, which gets worse when the croc proceeds to drown you. And with crocs being
Yeah,
able to hold their breath for up to 2 hours, trust that you'll pass tense long before he does. The only thing with those teeth is they're great for grabbing, useless for chewing. So
I will say though, like the freaking, all of the images of them like so close, I'm so tense for all of these people who are that close to these things. Like all the time. I'm like, they are scary. Apparently I'm still a little bit afraid of alligators.
they'll slam prey into chunks and swallow them whole, which leads to the most broken finishing move of any animal, the death roll. But crocs also have the most acidic stomach of any animal and can dissolve bones, horns, and hooves. But they're also bloodbenders with a heart that controls exactly where the blood goes, and a feeding croc will direct blood to its stomach, so the carbon dioxide in it only makes the acid more corrosive. And good luck fighting back.
A very black dragon of them.
Aggro weapon borderline bulletproof. Crocodiles are covered in osteoderms, and armor plating blocks the teeth of other animals from doing damage, which is why there's more than one case of a croc tanking a gunshot, but the nasty work is what you can't see.
And I will also say, like, you know, I like that guy who goes to the Everglades, and he calls them swamp puppies, which is really cute. He's just, that man is fearless, first of all. I'm terrified for him also. But like, and like, you know, Steve Irwin still wrestled him. I'm just like, these people, I'm like, I can't even imagine. Like, no way. I do really want to go on a like swamp tour kind of thing. I wouldn't mind getting a little bit more up close and personal with them, but like not in the water ever. Not ever, ever, ever in the water. I'll be on a boat.
The scales are said to manipulate water in a way that means a 20-foot problem doesn't make ripples. The osteoderms create countercurrents that cancel out any disturbances made in the water. Basically cloaking technology, but in a
Whoa!
style. The same osteoderms can store heat for when it gets too cold and then release it when it's too hot. So
Oh,
they
that's
also
crazy.
have
Don't
those
splash or
abilities.
anything.
There's one more trick under its skin, and it's that when crocs spend all that time underwater, lactic acid starts to build up in them. But because osteoderms are made of mineralized bones, the minerals will slightly dissolve if the acid gets too high, releasing carbonate and bicarbonate ions that neutralize the acid and raise the pH. Crocs are nature's nepo babies. Evolution gave them every cheat possible. And with salties growing up to 20 feet long and pressing the scales at often over 2,000 pounds,
Oh my God.
they needed more handouts. Especially when you realize, except for a tail that stores fat like a camel's
Oh, you
crocs
missed.
are almost all muscle. And
That felt cheating. I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't tease the thing like that. That feels like you're asking to die.
look like a snake with legs with Kratos' knives for teeth. That tail is a lot stronger than you think, and the same one that can briefly
Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle.
plus-sized predator would absolutely shatter your leg with a direct hit. But there might not be anything more unsettling than crocodiles having probably the most advanced eyes of any animal. Eyes nature put right at the top of their heads, so snappy lads can plot on your life while cosplaying as a log. Eyes that have a protective nictating membrane, so even attacking one of their few weaknesses still requires two-factor authentication, especially since they can retract their eyeballs. And like dolphins, crocs can
Not
rest
fair.
their brain at a time, meaning the pride of Steve Irwin can sleep with one eye open, and studies show they're more likely to do that when they're around humans. Also, they have-
Well, I mean, at least they know to be worried. They're a little worried about us too, then.
because of course they do. And that's not even the most broken part of their vision.
Oh, good.
Fovea is a small part of the retina, but it's where vision is the sharpest, and it's what you use when you focus on a specific word on a page, or play Where's Waldo. And when you move your eyes to
Oh.
look at something, got him, that's you putting the image on your fovea. The problem is, what is a tiny dot for us is the shape of a skid
I
mark
didn't
for a
find Luigi.
crocodile. Having a fat fovea
I forgot to look for you, Luigi, because I was listening, so.
means nature's favorite predator can scan an entire shoreline without moving its head. If you still don't follow, get a book and try to read the entire page without moving your eyes once, and then realize how much of a middle finger this creature's existence is. Especially since the
No, it fades out.
has cockroach levels of plot armor.
Oh,
Crocodiles
good.
can tank freezing cold, extreme heat, radiation, and can live in waters contaminated with heavy metals. And with the diet of a morgue, they're resistant to nastiness like anthrax, cholera, and the most potent substance on Earth, botulism. They
Oh,
also have
good.
negligible senescence, meaning they don't really age the same
Yeah.
way most animals do. It doesn't make them immortal, but it does mean that they never really stop growing. And
Yeah, and like they don't degenerate, right? Like I feel like a lot of creatures, like they as they get older, their brains function a little bit slower. I think there's
easily past 100.
Don't.
In fact, right now, there's a croc that's been alive since 1900. Like the year.
He ate people, fathered 10,000 babies, and just turned 124. Meet Henry. Cheers, Henry. Good job. You've lived quite a life.
Which means, other than a Greenland shark, I don't think there's another predator that can outlive a croc, and with them being nature's favorite, of course some sick muppet made them resistant to cancer. Many believe it's thanks to their gut, because the gut microbiome is said to be a huge part of your health, and a crocodile's gut community manages to reverse cancer. An experiment found that their gut bacteria put the brakes on cancer and slowed the growth of cancer-causing cells.
So can we...
Basically, it's a cancer to cancer, and now I understand why Buddy from Spider-Man crashed out. Especially since it turns out alligators and crocodiles can regenerate a lost tail.
Well, I think that in the original story, right, of Spider-Man, that's what he was trying to recreate. He was trying to recreate the regenerative ability of limbs, and that's why he turned into a lizard. But also there's that there's that panel from Spider-Man that's like, why are you turning people into dinosaurs? You could cure cancer with this technology. And the response is, but I don't want to cure cancer. I want to turn people into dinosaurs. This one. You can rewrite DNA on the fly and you're using it to turn people into dinosaurs. With tech like that, you could cure cancer. But I don't want to cure cancer. I want to turn people into dinosaurs. I mean, this guy, I'll give him for it, is very, he's authentic to his true beliefs and desires.
Crocodilian blood also throws hands with bad bacteria and can dead diseases like salmonella and staph infections.
Wow.
This thing's built like a Dark Souls boss, and the fact that they can survive...
So can we start using them a little bit more in medical research, or are we? Because it sounds like we tried.
several acts of God yet get neutralized by a rubber band around the mouth proves Nature has a sense
Or
of
apparently a
but that's a
crab.
lot better than getting folded by some of the diseases out there. And there's some stuff that Satan would second guess. Viewer discretion is advised, and this time, I'm so serious. I'm not being cute. If you're queasy and not built for body horror, go here before I ruin your whole
Okay,
day.
I'm
No
fine.
action will be considered consent. I'm just saying. Last chance, you can still go back. Alright, this is on you. 3, 2,
Yeah, it is.
Happy Halloween. I didn't even curse, I did gag a little. This is a deer suffering from papillomavirus, and
Whoa!
it's not harmful unless you value mental health. But it can also cause Lovecraftian rabbits with those.
Whoa! What the fuck is that? That's not real. That's real? That's a thing? Okay, I thought I was gonna see gore or something. This is just wild.
Affected seeming to grow tentacles. And if you live in Colorado, you've definitely seen these jackalopes popping up. And according to this article, the cutaneous quills are caused by the cottontail papilloma virus. This is the worst thing you can see while a mile high, because of the altitude. We fear most what we can't understand.
Whoa, okay. I mean, I'd believe in any cryptid if I saw that. Like, that's so cool. Oh my god, why haven't we made a zombie movie about that?
Sometimes it feels like fear is the only thing stories like these are selling, and how that story is told could be the difference between being informed and building a panic bunker expecting the end of the world. That's where ground news comes in.
Yay, ground news!
Talking about a mutant deer with flesh bubbles for sanity's sake, you better be informed. Their app and website pulls from over 50,000 sources worldwide to give you context about each source's biases, reliability, and ownership. It allows you to compare how different outlets cover the same story and see where the truth really lies. And with the rabbit story, Ground News shows you over 200 sources and that most of the reporting came from the left or center. If I scroll down, I can see all the articles, and the more sensational headlines that were calling them Frankenrabbits actually came from lower factuality sources. As you can guess, the higher rated outlets were the ones explaining what was going on. The internet's great for showing
There's
you
no reason to
things that
panic.
be blind
That's
to.
nice.
It's also great for erasing content.
But it would be fun anyway. Like, dude, like the Cordyceps virus had sponsored, like, inspired The Last of Us, which is one of the best freaking zombie games ever. And a really good, at least season 1. Season 2 was all right, but I like season 1. It was so good. Like, I feel like that make it migrate to humans in some kind of way? Holy shit, that would be sick.
And mass-producing misinformation, which is why Ground News takes the mask off of who's really pushing a story to explain the inexplicable, and Ground News was even recognized by the Nobel Peace Center for their efforts in media literacy.
Nice.
If you'd like a guide to navigate random rabbit holes, no, not this one. By now, you already know I partnered with Ground News to get you 40.
Yeah, I think it might be time. He's been convincing me of this for a long time. I finally broke down and did it. And I'm 40% off with this. $5 a month.
40% off the same unlimited access Vantage plan I'm using. Make sure you go to groundnews.com/casualgeo or scan the QR code on screen to subscribe for only $5 a month. So hopefully I will never have to look at that deer again. But you'll never see a croc with something like that. It just wasn't enough. Nature gave an overachieving iguana the most broken build on the planet. Their abilities would get them banned in any game. Like I said, a crocodile on a stakeout can hold its breath for hours, and alligators can survive a 5-month cold plunge. Low metabolism means they live on power save mode, and it's also why a crocodile can go up to 2 years without eating. That's
Dang.
the boat that breaks as fast.
I think I knew that, but I forgot.
Out the times that would surely wipe out anything else, and now you see how an aggressive snout managed to reject the same death that found the dinosaurs. Crocs have been around since Saturn was single and still waiting on a ring, and the fact that they can just suspend animation by putting their life on layaway just proves that
hi.
they are the teacher's pet of everything.
See, that's fun. I like this video a lot with the backhoe. It's like, and he's like, oh, hi. Hello, dude.
Also, crocodiles are more than capable of running fast enough to catch you off guard. Well,
Yeah.
at least a Cuban croc will, and this is the one time I wish it were AI. And whoever said you should run away from one in a zigzag is guilty of attempted murder. That is a myth that only ups the chance that you trip and go out like a horror movie. You could climb a tree, except they can do that too, because honestly, why not? They do everything else.
And they can climb fences in Florida.
Scientists, they do it regularly, with them finding grown adults 10 feet in the trees and juveniles as high as 30.
Dang.
School taught you to be afraid of quicksand and giant Venus flytraps, yet somehow a drop
School didn't teach me that. Cartoons did.
gator was an unmentioned possibility. They can also climb fences
Yup.
of every kind. And again, you already know where this was taken. This is flagrantly Floridian.
Yes, it
Now's
is.
a good time to mention, crocodiles are more related to birds than to a turtle, snake, or a lizard. Meaning,
Whoa.
we just barely missed out on this freak being able to fly. Flightlessness aside, another thing they can't do well is see underwater. Their aquavision is actually kind of mid.
Oh.
This far into this video, and we finally found a weakness. But don't get too
Okay.
excited, because nature overcompensated with something outrageous. Those pits seasoning the crocodile are pressure sensors, and it's how the ultimate predator can clock the smallest vibrations in the water.
Oh no. It's like with sharks, but
vision. In fact,
worse.
You can tie a croc blindfolded, throw it into a pool, and let a leaky faucet drip on a complete opposite side. The croc will still know exactly where the water's coming from, while you won't know where he is until you wake up at a Tupac concert. And
terrifying.
when emptiness brings the water's visibility to zero, they'll T-pose, spreading their legs and fingers to maximize an already broken ability. And speaking of fingers, their jaws are more sensitive than yours. A dinosaur beast breathing like a nosegay, but let the croc tell it. That's the only demon that's slaying. And I don't know if I said this already, but let's not just walk past the fact that they can regenerate their tails like a starfish's arm. But the thing is, bears are berserker built
just the tails.
steroids. Cats are four-legged fur ninjas, and orcas are the most cerebral serial murkers on the planet. What is it about this semi-aquatic bioweapon that makes me confidently call them the scariest predator on Earth? Oh, simple. They're a predator's predator. Is there a single predator that generates more anxiety in other predators? Even cheetahs aren't fast.
That was wild. Well, cheetahs are always anxious, but like having it just like kind of crawl up just right next to that thing with no fucks given.
Enough to cheat death in the hit range of the reptile. And the king of the jungle gets a severe vibe check when they're out of their element. Not to mention, crocodiles will savage sharks to the point where many believe bull sharks actively avoid them. The crocodile is the worst
Smart.
predator, one with zero prejudice, which makes them a massive threat to the most successful.
Oh, it was a dummy. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Don't do that to me.
Here's the thing, when a lion, tiger, or bear becomes a man-eater, it usually means something's wrong and they can't hunt their normal prey. Polar bears and Komodo dragons are famously less picky, but their home base is so remote that most people will never have to worry about them.
Yeah.
Not only do crocodiles practice the worst kind of equality, they're basically everywhere. It's not that they actively go after humans.
Yeah,
Just that they genuinely don't care, which is why it's the crocodile that turns more humans into hashtags than
good thing it was a gator.
by a lot. And considering how and where they do it, that number would easily be higher.
Yeah, because people take them, right? And they like raise them and the little guys, and then they flush them down the toilet and shit.
Don't get killed by a crocodile. There's plenty of psychological damage that comes from being targeted by one. In 2003, two Australian teenagers spent 22 hours trapped in a tree while being stalked by a 13-foot crocodile.
Oh my god.
The entire night was the two keeping each other awake so they wouldn't fall in. To make it even worse, thanks to a flood, the waters kept rising, and the croc seemed to taunt the two by showing off the body of the third friend it had already caught.
Oh my god. Well, where's the 127 Hours movie about that? Ugh. I mean, I hope they shouldn't probably make it, because those kids are, until those kids are long dead, but like, ugh, horrifying.
The two would be saved, but only by helicopter, because really, what else can you do in that situation? Well, they didn't get it as bad.
Yikes.
The New Zealander also got stalked by a croc almost as big as the 20-foot kayak he was traveling in, and held captive on Governor Island, where the predator repeatedly made his presence known. 2 weeks with limited food and water, and a 20-foot undertaker that would chase him every time he tried to leave. And Ryan was hanging on by only a thread by the time he was rescued. That's the horror of being hunted by the greatest sit-and-wait predator of all time. Because time is their greatest resource.
Oh god, hi.
More of it than they do.
Like, ugh.
The fact that the big ones can go a year or more between meals and do their dirty work in murky water makes a man-eating crocodile the most difficult kind to deal with. Gustav was a Nile crocodile believed to be 20 feet long and well over 2,000
Heard of
pounds.
Gustav.
Believed because despite allegedly putting 300 people in past tense and being repeatedly shot, the serial killer croc was never officially caught. And despite reports of his death, because he was believed to have hatched in the 50s, there's a small but legitimate chance he's still out there, biding his time, just waiting for someone to wander close enough to become 50 Shades of Prey. You never see them until it's too late, and once you do, you might not see them for another year.
Wild how silent, like that.
Land Before Time left behind. This is the scariest predator.
No ripples.
But of course, it's just an animal doing what comes naturally. They're not evil. Just millions of years of character development
still.
And mass extinctions. It's not hard to see why Steve Irwin wrote so hard for them, and I wouldn't be doing Khaki Jesus justice if I convinced you to hate them. Nah,
I'm just always a little scared though.
Very healthy helping of fear, because moral of the story, always beware the old man in a game where men die young. And you always beware the landlord of Croc Country, because you'll never know when rent's due.
Anyway. Yeah, I was always a little afraid of them, and I still am, apparently. But I don't live in a place where I find many of them. And again, it's been a while since I've even visited a place that has many of them. I mean, I went to New Orleans, but we didn't go on the like swamp tour that when I went. And like also it was like January, so they weren't even really active. But like I said, it's been a minute since I've been anywhere that I was around a lot of them, but when I was, it was scary. Anyway, thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know what I should look at next, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.